Hey folks, Dr. Emily here, and today we're talking about could AI be the silver bullet for software development? Now, spoiler alert, no, and here's why that's really good news for you right now. So, these are insights that were actually shared from Fred Brooks' Mythical Man Month, which was originally published, in 1975. All right, 1975, he published No Silver Bullet in the Mythical Man Month. This is chapter 16 if you're following along at home, right? And so the idea is that he's claiming in 1975, right? So this is literally 50 years ago, right? 50 years ago, he's claiming that there's no silver bullet in software development. And now we have AI. Has it changed the game? Has it changed the answer? That could AI be the silver bullet for software development? So let's dive into this a little bit. Let's dive into this. Okay. So, and again, if you're here, please, drop a note in the chat. I am checking on messages while we're talking today, and I would love to see you. Love to see you. Okay. Super, super awesome. All right. Sweet. So let's dive into this, shall we? So in the Mythical Man Month, Fred Brooks says there is no silver bullet. There's no single software development in either technology or management which by itself promises even one order of magnitude improvement in productivity, reliability, or simplicity. Okay, that's a pretty strong argument. That's a pretty strong argument. And he goes on to explain why, right? He goes on to explain why. It's because that the hard part is in actually figuring out what you want to build. It's in managing people working together, which actually doesn't totally change with AI. It changes a little bit because AI can replace, instead of having a team of 4 developers, you might have one developer working really, really fast. Okay, cool. That really does translate into an order of magnitude, faster workflow. But at the end of the day, have we found our silver bullet? For 50 years, there has been no silver bullet in software engineering. Has that changed? So let's dive into this a little bit, shall we? And let's start by looking at what does AI do right? What does AI do right? Okay. So what AI can do and where it fails. So AI can speed up syntax, right? It can make it faster to create code, but it can't replace your critical thinking, your debugging, or your ability to architect real world systems that grow and scale, right? Can it create something? Yes, it is brilliant at creating a template from scratch. But is that template going to live in the world? Is it going to react and respond to other humans the way you intend? Someone has to sit there and figure that out still. Now, perhaps someday, right, AI will be able to do all these things. Maybe, but maybe not, right? Because the hard part of software development, where people get paid the really big bucks, is not on the day-to-day just coding. It's on getting it working. It's on creating something that's scalable, that's reliable, that can grow, that can stand the test of time. And to be honest, with software, we're always creating something that's never been done before, right? AI is really, really good at generating photos and movies and text, right? And writing. But what it's doing, it's taking components that are already out there and putting them together. But what happens when you have a real technological advancement, something that's the world has never seen before? Is AI just going to know how to create it? If it's derivative and it's just combining like, oh, I want this little piece of Yelp and this little piece of Uber, put it together, voila, sure, AI might be able to handle that. But if you actually want to create software that's going to transform the world, AI can give you a prototype, but it's not going to give you a business. It's not going to give you a robust, reliable prototype that will stand the test of time. Someone's going to have to go in there and work with the AI, right? And so AI is really the helper, right? It's not going to replace your critical thinking. It's not going to debug for you, right? Like, in fact, I mean, they have these vibe coding tools where you go in there and you click the buttons, and it's just so freaking annoying because when it doesn't work, now you have to go and do all this work to get it working, right? They have this auto debug feature, but it doesn't work every time. I found it not working, right? Or your ability to architect real world systems, right? to actually think through how the system is going to grow and change over time to make sure that you build in the security, the reliability, the testing, right? The continuous integration, deployment pieces, like all of these things. AI can put those pieces in if you know to ask for them. But you have to know what they are and value them to be able to even communicate that effectively. So AI is not, it can speed up the syntax for sure, but it's not necessarily going to replace the developer. It's just elevating the developer's role. And employers know this. That's why they're still hiring coders who can lead, not just copy and paste from ChatGPT. Google was always there for six-figure software developers. That wasn't why they got hired and paid the big bucks. Six-figure software developers get hired and get paid all that nice, lovely, cushy salary because they get it working no matter what, because they know how to troubleshoot and debug even when Google and ChatGPT fail. Can they take advantage and move faster with these tools? Absolutely. But does it replace them? No. What CEO is going to sit there and try and debug why something's not working? No, they're going to want to pay somebody to do it, right? AI doesn't replace great developers. It amplifies them. So they're not, they're able to deliver like 10x of what they could do on their own before. So when you learn to think like a coder, AI becomes your fastest team member, not your replacement. So let me give you, let me give you an example to kind of put this into perspective. So does anyone remember driving before GPS? I'm dating myself a little bit, but does anyone remember driving before we had GPS on our phones? Like, oh my goodness. Do you remember printing out MapQuest? That's what I used to do. So back in the day when I was an early driver, before I had a GPS system, because I didn't get that, gosh, I was driving for probably 10 or 15 years before I got my first GPS in my car. And so I would be printing out directions to go to unfamiliar places, right? You had to print directions. You had to memorize, what exit number am I going to? Oh, I made a wrong turn. Oh, the directions don't update. I have to go back, right? You had to stress over every wrong turn. But when GPS came along, driving didn't disappear. It just got easier, right? A good driver with GPS, they get places faster. They explore more, right? They don't panic when they miss a turn or when something goes wrong. They just reroute and keep going. But someone who's never learned to drive yet, who's never driven before, a GPS doesn't help them. AI is the same way for software developers. If you know how to think like a coder, AI becomes your GPS. It helps you build faster, make smarter decisions, and focus on that destination, not every little line of syntax, right? You don't get lost in the weeds. The coders who are winning right now aren't the ones who are memorizing directions. They're the ones who can drive with AI riding shotgun as their co-pilot. All right. Is this making sense? Drop a note in the chat if this is tracking for you. Drop a note in the chat. All right. So let's go into this a little bit more, right? AI is evolving the role of the developer, right? AI creates powerful prototypes super fast. Like it is so good at from scratch. I would never set out to create a project from scratch anymore without AI, right? Like it has totally changed the game for prototyping. But in terms of like actually learning to code, yeah, you're going to want to know how to code from scratch to make sure that you actually know what you're doing so you can use AI and be effective at it. AI can be an incredible tool for your learning as well, right? You can ask it questions. It can help guide your learning. Like if you're not sure of an error message, it can help interpret it, like all good things. But where does AI fail, right? What does that next frontier look like? Right? This is what No Silver Bullet is all about with Fred Brooks. AI can't deliver for you, right? It can prototype for you. And I've had software clients come to me and they're like, oh my goodness, I created this brilliant prototype using this vibe coding tool in AI, and it was great until it stopped working. Now what? I want to create a business around this. What if you're a business owner who doesn't know how to code, right? And they just launch it and they have paying clients and all of a sudden something's not working. Who are you going to call to get that fixed ASAP? The developer on your team, right? It's still going to be the developers. So again, this is not new, right? This idea of evolving the role of someone's job because of technology is totally not new, right? Take bookkeepers and accountants, right? Okay, you guys have heard of like Quicken and finance software, Excel spreadsheets, right? Have you guys heard about those? Right? So when Excel came out, did accounting software like Excel and QuickBooks replace the accountants and bookkeepers? Like, do we still have bookkeepers? Yes, we do. Do we still have accountants? Absolutely. Do we also have software that supports them? Yeah, not replacing them, right? It didn't replace them. It evolved their role and made their work lives easier. So now they focus on making sure the software did everything correctly and that it actually meets the client's needs, right? So AI can speed up the syntax, but it can't replace your critical thinking, your debugging intuition, or your ability to architect real world systems, okay? And employers know this, and that's why they're hiring coders who can lead teams, lead projects, and deliver, not just copy and paste. So basically, what's been replaced by AI is the junior developers, the entry level roles where you're just being told, go do this, go squash that bug, go write this little thing. Those roles are gone. Those were just kiss them and goodbye, right? But the cool news is that those weren't the role. If you wanted to make six figures in tech, those were never the roles you wanted anyways, right? And in fact, I'll share a statistic with you guys later today. The skills that I'm talking about, today, that I'm sharing with you, they've only elevated the salaries of the students that I've worked with, right? Last year, the salaries ranged from 70K to 170K. And now with AI and the skills that we teach combined, all of the offers in the past 9 months have been for six figures, right? So this works, right? Right. The approach that I'm teaching you about how to focus your education and training and learning on becoming a software developer in the age of AI, it absolutely works. So let's dive into a little bit more of what do employers actually want to pay for. What skills do you need to become that six-figure software developer in the age of AI, right? So what are they going to pay for, right? What does this mean for someone who's on the tech job market right now? Right now there's AI. What skills do developers need, right? So how do we go from ghosted to an unstoppable top candidate? The first thing you're going to need is systems thinking. And I'm not just talking code, syntax, and memorization. That was never useful. Like literally, as soon as Google came out, knowing a language's syntax was not an employable skill. It is a necessary skill that six-figure software developers have, but you're not going to get paid only for that skill. You're going to get paid for that skill in conjunction with other things. Now with AI, forget it, right? Like you need to be able to like operate at the level of systems versus like individual lines of code, right? It's about getting systems working. And when I say systems, I mean truly collaborative systems between humans and tech, right? AI and humans, software and humans, but like the humans are part of that process. It used to be in the golden old days, you could be a six-figure software developer and never talk to people, or at least talk a very little bit. Now, no, you need to be able to code and work with the technology and talk to humans. You're basically like the liaison, right, between the tech and the humans that want the tech, right? And you're just like, what do you want? Okay, I'm going to make it happen. And I know how to do the magical things that will get the tech working for you, right? And so it's really about collaborating now. And it's about understanding those human needs and leveraging the AI speed so that the solutions that work are reliable and scalable, right? And it's about showing real world proof that you can actually deploy working solutions, right? It's about, demonstrating your skills by solving real problems for real clients with real actual deadlines and tools, right? And showing that you can actually work on a team and collaborate with other humans, right? It's learning how to think like a coder and being able to solve any problem that's placed in front of you, any problem at all, right? So these are the skills, if you want to screenshot it, right? Like these are the skills that you really truly need to be hired in today's market, right? And that market is actually looking really good. I've heard for months, oh, the job market, oh, the tech job market. I mean, I haven't seen this personally, right? Like our students have been getting jobs. And in fact, the offers have been getting higher, right? So like I am not seeing this, but I also hear students coming to me, oh, my friend's in tech. He's applied for months and not had success. Okay, well, maybe he's not following an optimal path, right? Maybe there's another better way that they could get hired more quickly. Let me show you the lay of the land. So you don't have to just take my word for it. Okay. So right now, right, I got the statistic in the beginning of July. It was for the end of June 2025. That's when we are. If you're watching this video later, go get the latest data. It should only be going up at that point. And there's over 230,000 tech jobs available right now. Are there a lot of people applying for them? Sure. So all you need to know is a fast path in. And the question I want to ask is, do you want to be ahead of the curve or behind, right? Because wouldn't it be awesome to know if the number of developer jobs are going up or down? Wouldn't that help? Because learning to become a developer, it takes time, right? In our program, it's usually 6 to 8 months from, learning, from coming in, learning, training, getting experience, and getting that job offer, right? And so it takes time. It's an investment in yourself, and you might invest in training. Wouldn't it be nice to know if those jobs are going to be there in a year when you actually are, when you're hired or when you go on the job market? Are they going to be there for 5 years? How long will these jobs be there? I think that a lot of people have a misunderstanding of AI and thinking, oh, it's wiping away everything, versus it's actually creating more demand for these technical skills. So let's look at that. What if we could detect the future? What if we could see the future? We had a crystal ball. Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, have any of you ever predicted the future? I bet you have, and you might not be aware of it. Can you tell me when it's going to rain? Can you tell me when it's going to rain? There's a couple different ways you might look out the window and see if it's gray out. You might pick up the weather app on your phone and it might tell you if it's going to rain or not. So we have means of predicting the future for certain things. And one of those things that we have the ability to predict the future on is actually the stock market, buying decisions. Investors have been predicting the future for centuries using just the patterns. So there's a very, very well-known pattern, and it's called the double bottom. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. But what I want to draw your attention to in this jobs chart is not just that there's over 230,000 jobs in tech right now, but the trend line of the jobs, so that we can actually take a stab at predicting the future with very high accuracy, right? I don't know if you've ever traded stocks before. I've dabbled in day trading, and there's certain patterns that traders know about that indicate whether a stock is going to go up or down, and it's with frightening accuracy. These patterns predict human behavior. They predict future trends. It's what gave rise to algorithmic trading, if you've heard of that. So what I notice here, and I got so excited when I saw this graph, is that the trend line for the number of tech jobs is actually going up. It's increasing. That's pretty strong. That's nice. That shows longevity, consistency, pretty good. Not only is it going up, but you guys see these two little bounces right here, these little bumps, bump, bump. That's called a double bottom pattern. And I don't know what you guys take away from this, but what I see when I see a double bottom is I see a stock that's about to go up. So if you're wondering, are tech jobs going to be there in a year or 2 or 5? The answer to me is pretty clear, as someone who's used to watching these patterns, that we have a clear double bottom. In fact, it looks like there's going to be one more little boop, and then it's going to shoot up again. Only time will tell. Even if it doesn't shoot up astronomically, the trend line's going up. So it's a pretty safe bet. Worst case scenario, it continues on that linear trend. Best case scenario, it's bouncing. And so the question becomes, do you want to be ahead of that? Do you want to be the person who's already investing in their education, who's preparing to be a member of that new workforce? Or do you want to wait until everybody else is like, oh, I want a tech job, and hop on the bandwagon and be in that competition? Or do you want to be someone who's well placed ahead of the curve, right? So the question is, do you want to be ahead of the curve or behind? And, you don't have to just take my word for it, right? I want to urge you to look at the evidence, right? So how do I know that the approach and these ideas that I've been sharing with you work? Well, in 2024, our student salaries were 70K to 170K. Pretty nice, right? Would you be okay with a salary in that range? But in the last 9 months, since fall of 2024, every student who's gotten an offer was for 6 figures. Every single one in the past 9 months. Didn't hurt our grads. It literally catapulted them to success. All right. So if you would like to see how, I would love to show you. This Thursday, I'm hosting a live free training on the AI Developer Blueprint, how smart coders are using AI to build 6-figure tech careers, and how you can too. The live masterclass will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want the Zoom link, please just sign up at joc.mobi or 6figuresoftwaredeveloper.com. It all goes to the same place. I'm going to post my link here. All right, folks. And I would love to see you there. If you don't have any questions here, please join us in our live training session. Bring your questions there. You can also text or email me. You may have received messages from me. Once you sign up with us, you'll start getting email messages and maybe the occasional text message, and we can happily start a conversation. I can answer questions there. All right. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Best of luck on your journey. Peace out.